This is Vicki Arsenault, and you're listening to another episode of Faithing Your Fears. Hey, so how are you doing this week? I hope that you're having an awesome start to your week. I have had something on my mind over this past week that I really wanted to share with you because I feel like a lot of Christian women can feel like they are second-rate Christians because they own a business or work at a job and aren't in full-time ministry or in some sort of ministry. And I wanted to address that because I want you to know that you are not a second-rate Christian if you are not in some kind of leadership role in your church. What you're doing right now, wherever you are, is super important. You are in full-time ministry just by existing and being a follower of Christ. You don't have to have a title at your church. You don't have to have some special thing to say that you are first rate. You just are because you are a child of God. Okay, so I just want you to know that because what I have come across is that when I'm working with women who want to start home-based businesses, they often feel bad because they have to charge money for their services and they feel terrible. They feel like I have this gift or this talent and I should be doing this for free because that's what God would want me to do because money is bad. Well, money is not bad, first of all. The love of money is not good, but money itself is nothing. I think I said this on an earlier episode that money is just a magnifying glass that shows what's already in your heart. If you're already generous, you're going to be even more generous. If you're already greedy, you're just going to be more greedy. Maybe sometimes people are just scared to find out what really is in their heart, and that's why they're so afraid of money. But the truth is, and that was from Rabbi Lapin. He said that, I believe in his book, Thou Shalt Prosper. So I want to make sure I give him credit. I didn't come up with that. So the thing is, working with women who are Christian women and want to start a home-based business, sometimes they're stuck in this mind like that when you become a Christian, you're supposed to be in ministry. Owning a business is a bad thing. You should just go work somewhere or just be in full-time ministry. And I just wanted to tell you that that's just not true. Whatever it is God gives you to do, you put your hand to that. If you're a stay-at-home mom right now, that is a ministry. That's a full-time ministry. That's a non-stop 18-year ministry. So kudos to you, full-time stay-at-home mom. But also, if you're the mom that's out there that's working and then coming home and taking care of kids, or if you're somebody who doesn't even have children yet, but you're working your job, you are in full-time ministry because you get to be the hands and the feet and the mouthpiece of Jesus every single place that you go. And so I wanted to encourage you because I know there are some women who feel like they're trapped in this mindset that on one hand is ministry and on the other hand is business or work. And I want to just say to you that those are the same thing. My business is my ministry. I am obsessed with helping women start their own home-based businesses because I believe that is a way that we're able to use the gifts and talents that God has given us to empower and equip other people with our product or service. And I think that's absolutely amazing. And then as we earn money, we're able to care for our families. We're able to give generously so that we can be a blessing to people on the other side too, right? So you get to bless people through your business and then you get to bless people because of your business. Isn't that cool? And so, and even if you don't have a business, you're working at your job, that is a full-time ministry. You get to interact with people on the daily and you get to be the light in this dark world. Almost everybody that we encounter has had a bad day. And sometimes that bad day is going to come out on you. They're going to attack you. And it's not really you that they're attacking. They're just angry or whatever. And so in that moment, you get to choose if you're going to fire back or if you're going to choose the way of peace and just try to de-escalate the situation and be Jesus right there in that person's life. Whether you're talking to them about Jesus or not, most likely you won't be if you're at work, but you will be able to be different. You aren't going to engage in the arguing. You're going to bring calm, a sense of calm to the situation. People sometimes just need to vent, and then afterwards they usually end up apologizing for their own behavior. Not always, but sometimes. So, I want to read a couple scriptures to you that I thought would be helpful. So this first one is from, let me just find it again, 1 John 3. To see how much our Father loves us, for he calls us his children, and that is what we are. But the people who belong to this world don't recognize that we are God's children because they don't know him. Really, the first part of that is what I wanted you to really focus on. You are God's child, and you are loved. There is nothing second rate about you ever. You're not being compared to the person who is in full-time ministry, and the person in full-time ministry is not being compared to you because you're, in your business making $1 million a year. You know what I mean? It's like God doesn't care about that. He cares about the heart. And so every single place you go is a ministry. So I just don't want you to be confused that if you work in a workplace that you are less special because you're not in a ministry, or that if you have some sort of ministry that you're more special because you're doing ministry like at a church. No. God has no favorites. You are awesome. You are special. You are his masterpiece. So, one more verse that I want to share with you. Dear children, let us not merely say that we love each other. Let us show the truth by our actions. Our actions will show that we belong to the truth. So we will be confident when we stand before God. And even if we feel guilty, God is greater than our feelings and he knows everything. So we don't need to feel guilty. You can just go to God with bold confidence. And, I just wanted you to be comforted in that. That is from 1 John 3. I wanted you to be comforted in that because you may feel those feelings of guilt. You may feel those things, and you don't need to feel feelings of guilt. Sometimes it's the Holy Spirit telling you that you need to change direction, and that's awesome. But sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's our own mind that is telling us this is wrong because we have some sort of ideal Christian in our mind, and we don't measure up to whatever that perfect ideal Christian in our mind is. And so then we judge ourselves and we make, life really difficult and all this for ourselves. So I just want you to know, God loved you before you even knew him. And that's when everything was really, really ugly, right? We're in this world of, in our own world of sin and darkness and shame and all of these things. And then you find God and you become a Christ follower. And suddenly you think, oh, everything's going to change. It's going to be awesome. Guess what? It is. But sometimes it's going to happen over time. And so you don't have to feel bad. God loves you every second of every day, whether you're doing the best things or you're doing the worst things, because sometimes our faith ends up getting worked out. Sometimes everything doesn't change in a day. I used to drink, I used to swear, and I didn't necessarily make a mental note hey, I need to stop doing this. But I did feel prompted in my spirit that you know what, this doesn't really line up with the lifestyle that you're trying to live. And eventually, God just took the desires for those things away from me. So I don't do them anymore. But it's just because God took that away from me. He put the desire in my heart, and then he delivered me from things that were not really going to give me a great life. If I kept going down the road I was going, I would not be where I am now. It would be a totally different one, and it would be horrible. So I'm really grateful that God cleaned up a bunch of stuff in my life. But that happened over years. It didn't happen overnight. There are some things, I've heard stories of people who do have things that happen overnight. They just immediately stop. Like my dad was one. He just stopped drinking. That was it. Stopped smoking. That was it. It was done. Never wanted it again in his life. So it can happen. But it doesn't happen in every single area of your life. You have to grow and learn and all of those things. So all of this to say that where you are right now is where you're supposed to be right now. So just let God show up in your life right now as you are. And don't compare yourself to others. Just be you. Right this very second, just who you are, right where you are, because God already loves you right now. He will go in and do the work in you as you get to know him more by reading his word and spending time chatting with him one-on-one, you and God. So you are a first-rate Christian. You're his child, and he adores you. He's so glad that you're here. He's so glad he created you. And I just want you to know that and to feel comfortable with that, to feel happy about that, and to not let any of the thoughts that you are less than or inadequate in some way, I don't want you to let those thoughts rule your life even for one more second. So I hope that you find this encouraging and helpful this week. And I will see you again next week. If you want to find me on Facebook or Instagram, I'm at Coach Vicki Arsenault, and you can always check out vickiarsenault.com as well. So have an amazing week. I'll see you next time.